Okay. Hi, fifth grade. What we're going to be making out of clay this year is um, a vessel. I call it a vessel, which means it's something that holds something else. And um, it doesn't have to be something you eat out of. You could put things in it. You can make it so it can hold liquid or food or just trinkets. But your vessel this year will include a coil. And a coil is like this. It's a rolled up piece of clay that looks like a snake. And you have to incorporate coils or a coil in your project, whether it be like this or like this on the, as the side of it, or as a decorative piece, or as a handle. Something could actually be almost braided, a handle of a cup. Okay, so you're going to get a lump like this, and you could either make a base first out of clay, which would be a rounded disc-like shape, and you smooth it out. Just pinch it a little so it's not too thin, but thin enough to be the bottom of something. If you need more clay, it shouldn't be too thin. Make sure you have enough clay that it's not super thin. All right, you'll feel it. If your finger goes through easily, it's too thin. All right, so you could use a base like that if you wanted to. And then you could take pieces of clay and begin rolling them. That's a lot. I'll cut that down. Okay, this is the way you roll a coil. Now if it gets long enough, you can use both hands, put a little pressure on the coil, and then it will grow. Your snake, whatever you want to call it, worm, will grow, and then you're going to use it to go around the base. But you have to use enough water for it to stick. Clay, when it dries, shrinks and things will fall apart. Now, you should really scratch and attach. Sometimes if you have enough water, it doesn't need it. But in this case, oh, I didn't even make it all the way around, so I'll make it a little bigger. The coil can be a little bigger, so that at least it makes it around. Let's see if we're going to make it. Alright, so I can wet my coil as well, just to make sure the surface is wet enough. And I can begin, I could either pinch it and join it in one spot, or I could overlap it and begin the next one. Sometimes you have overlapping and you can continue one coil and keep going around and around and around. This one now I'm going to press it in place because I wanted to make sure that I have a good junction, or a good, I guess, attachment is what I'm saying, okay? So you want to be attached tightly. All right, then you can keep going with some coils, or you can do something decorative. Of course, you need a couple more for this, but that's just the way you would make a coil. Now the next coil you'd have to wet this. As long as it's wet enough, it should be okay if you press one into the other. But if you're not sure, give it a little scratch and then put the next one on and go from there. What I wanted to also show you were other options. You could also make, I have to wet it because it's getting dry, a little bit. Not too much water. Too much water sacrifices the integrity of the clay, makes it weak. But you could make some kind of pinch pot, bowl, whatever you want to choose to make. And you can go around and around like this. And you can make a traditional pinch pot, or stretch it a little bit more and make it a bowl. I'm going to go bigger with this. Alright. Depending on how much clay that you have, that we give, depends on how big this could be. If you see you want more clay, you got to start over, let me know if you think you need a little bigger, but we're not going to go super, super big. Now, I used a lot of water, and that's not good. This is too mushy down there. So I'm going to move it over onto a dry spot, and hopefully the paper will absorb some of the water. All right, so if I have a bowl or a pot like that, I could then, I'm just going to use this coil so I don't have to re-roll one, but I could even just attach the coil. I'm flattening the top a little. I could take some water, attach the coil just as a decorative top to my pinch pot, to my mug, whatever it is that I'm building. You can use the coil as a handle on a mug. You can braid 3 coils and use that as a handle on a mug. You could use a coil on in a decorative way on the side. You could even shape your bowls differently. They don't have, see, now that coil's not staying good. I need to press it in a little, but still keep the coil shape. I want to be able to see that coil. Now maybe I want to shape my bowl in an odd way, like this, or triangular, whatever. You just decide how you want to do it. Again, your piece has to incorporate a coil, and there are many creative ways to use coils. If you made something taller, then wanted a handle. It has to be strong and large. Can't be a thin coil like this, right? And they do have to stick. A lot of times you can, well, with coils you don't want to smooth out, but any other attachments you have to scratch and use water and attach, okay? So that's basically what we're doing, is creating a vessel or a pot, a bowl, a dish, a mug, a cup. If you want to go taller with a coil, you can make it small and narrow and go up. If it's wide, you're going to need too much clay, so that wouldn't work. If it's wider, it's lower. If it's narrow, it could be taller, okay? So you're going to create a vessel. You incorporate a coil or more than one coil, and that's it. Okay. So next week we start. I cannot explain it and do it in the same day. It has to be the demonstration one week, and then you get right to work the next week, because it takes time. You must finish in one period. I cannot keep all of these pieces wet and moist in plastic bags for the following week. I don't have the room or the capacity. There's too many. So we do it in one period, okay? All right. See you guys next week.